What if I told you that in the next 5 years, your salary might not just grow slowly, it might stop growing altogether, while someone working next to you, with the same 24 hours, starts earning 5x, even 10x more than you? And no, this is not science fiction. This is already happening right now inside companies you interact with every single day. AI is not just changing jobs. It is quietly changing how money flows from companies to people. And here's the part most people are not ready for. It's not about who works harder anymore. It's about who works with AI and who doesn't. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly where your income is heading, why the old salary system is breaking, and what you must do before the gap becomes impossible to close. Because we are entering a world where effort alone is no longer enough. We are entering a winner-takes-most economy. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable. For decades, the middle-class promise was simple. Study, get a job, gain experience, and your salary will grow every year. Maybe not fast, but steadily. That was the deal. But look around today. People with 10 years of experience are complaining that their salaries feel stuck. Meanwhile, fresh graduates who know how to use AI tools are getting hired at higher pay than ever before. Inflation is rising, rent is rising, food prices are rising, but salaries? For most people, they are barely moving. And this is where frustration begins. People start thinking, I'm doing everything right, so why am I still struggling? But what most people don't realize is that the rules of salary growth have changed silently. Companies are no longer rewarding time spent. They are rewarding output multiplied by technology. And AI has become the biggest multiplier in human history. If you are not plugged into it, your value is slowly getting discounted without you even noticing it. Let me tell you a story. Imagine two workers inside the same company. Same education. Same starting salary. Let's call them Adam and Ryan. Adam continues working the traditional way. He writes reports manually, spends hours analyzing data, and slowly builds presentations. Ryan, on the other hand, learns how to use AI tools. He uses AI to draft reports in minutes, analyze trends instantly, and create presentations in half the time. At first, both look equal on paper. But after 6 months, something interesting happens. Ryan is completing 3x more work. The company starts noticing. Not because Ryan is working harder, but because Ryan is producing more value in less time. Now guess what happens next? Ryan gets promoted faster. Ryan gets salary raises earlier. And Adam? He is still working hard, but his output looks smaller in comparison. This is where the silent shift begins. It's not about replacing humans. It's about replacing slow workflows. And slow workflows are becoming expensive for companies. Here's where things get even more interesting. The psychology behind this shift is not logical. It's emotional and behavioral. Humans are naturally resistant to change. Most people feel overwhelmed by AI, so they ignore it. Some even say, AI will never replace real skill. But history shows something different. Every time technology increases productivity, it changes what skill means. The printing press changed writers. Computers changed accountants. Now AI is changing almost every knowledge job. But the real reason people fall behind is not lack of intelligence. It's delay. They wait. They watch. They hope things will stay stable. But the financial system does not reward waiting. It rewards adaptation. And this creates a dangerous gap. On one side, you have people increasing their income exponentially with AI leverage. On the other side, people still trading time for money the old way. And this gap doesn't grow slowly, it compounds like interest. Now here's the twist most people don't expect. AI is not just limiting salaries. It is also creating massive income explosions. But only for those who understand one simple idea: leverage. In the past, your income was tied to hours. Today, income is tied to systems. If you can use AI to build systems, content systems, business systems, automation systems, you are no longer limited by time. One person can now do the work of 10. But here's the catch: companies will not automatically pay everyone more just because AI exists. They will pay more only to those who increase their value through AI. That means the gap is not between humans and AI. The gap is between AI-enabled humans and non-AI humans. And this is why the next 5 years will feel extreme. Some people will experience rapid financial growth, while others will feel stuck no matter how hard they work. So what do you actually do with this information? First, you stop thinking of AI as optional. It is not optional anymore. It is your new basic skill, like reading or writing. Start small. Learn how to use AI to speed up your current job. If you are in business, use AI to analyze customers. If you are in office work, use AI to automate reports. If you are a student, use AI to learn faster, not cheat. Second, focus on output, not hours. Ask yourself daily, how can I produce more value in less time? Third, build a second skill that AI amplifies, not replaces: communication, creativity, strategy, or decision-making. Because AI can generate answers, but it cannot yet replace human judgment. And finally, understand this deeply. The future will not be fair in the traditional sense. It will be efficient, and efficiency always rewards the adapter first. And if you take nothing else from this video, remember this simple truth. The next 5 years will not be about who works the hardest. They will be about who learns to work with intelligence itself. The people who adapt to AI early will not just earn more money, they will redefine what earning money even looks like. And those who ignore it will slowly feel like they are running on a treadmill that keeps getting faster but never moves forward. If this message made sense to you, then you are already ahead of most people who still haven't realized the shift is happening. And if you want to stay ahead, make sure you subscribe, because in the next videos we will break down exactly how to turn AI into income, step by step, even if you are starting from zero today. Now let's go deeper, because what we just talked about is only the surface. The real shift is not just happening in salaries. It is happening in the entire structure of how companies decide who gets paid more and who quietly gets left behind. Imagine walking into your workplace 5 years from now. Everything looks the same. Same chairs, same meetings, same coffee machine. But something invisible has changed. Half the tasks that used to take hours are now done in seconds by AI systems. And suddenly, your value is no longer measured by how long you sit at your desk. It is measured by how much of your work is AI augmented. This is where most people will feel confused, even shocked, because for the first time in modern history, experience alone stops guaranteeing income growth. Let's pause here and think about something simple. Why do companies even pay salaries? The answer is not loyalty. It is not effort. It is value creation. If you create more value, you get paid more. If your role becomes easier to automate or speed up, your bargaining power drops. Now here's the uncomfortable truth most employees don't want to hear. AI is not replacing jobs randomly. It is replacing the slowest parts of jobs first. That means repetitive thinking, basic analysis, simple reporting, and even entry-level writing are already being compressed into automated systems. And when that happens, companies don't need as many people to do the same work. But instead of firing everyone immediately, they quietly shift expectations. One person is now expected to do what 3 people used to do. Here's where things get interesting. Let me tell you a story of a company that quietly adopted AI tools for their marketing department. Before AI, they had 12 employees managing content, ads, and reports. After AI adoption, something surprising happened. They didn't fire everyone. Instead, they reduced the team to 5 people. But those 5 people were not random. They were the ones who adapted fastest. The rest didn't necessarily fail. They just didn't evolve fast enough. And guess what happened to the salaries? The top performers saw sharp increases. Not because the company suddenly became generous, but because their output multiplied. The rest? They slowly faded out of growth conversations. This is how modern salary compression works. It doesn't always look like layoffs. Sometimes it looks like stagnation. Now let's go even deeper into the psychology behind this. Most people assume that skill alone guarantees financial stability. But behavioral economics tells a different story. Humans are not rational adapters. We are comfort-seeking creatures. When a new system arrives, like AI, our brain first reacts with denial. It's just a trend. Then comes avoidance. I'll learn it later. Then comes resistance. This is overhyped. And by the time acceptance arrives, the early adopters have already taken the best positions. This delay is the silent killer of income growth. Not lack of intelligence, not lack of education, but timing. Because in a winner-takes-most system, being early matters more than being perfect. And here's a pattern interrupt you need to hear clearly. AI does not reward knowledge anymore. It rewards application. You can watch 100 videos about AI tools and still earn nothing. Or you can spend 1 week applying AI to your job and immediately become more valuable than your peers. This is why 2 people with the same education can now have completely different income paths. One becomes a watcher. The other becomes a builder. And the financial system only pays builders. But there is another layer to this shift that most people are missing. AI is not just increasing productivity. It is changing what companies define as one employee. In the past, one employee meant one brain, one set of skills, one output stream. Today, one employee with AI access is effectively a small team. Writing, analysis, design, research, planning, all compressed into a single workflow. And when companies realize this, they start recalculating salaries differently. They don't ask, "How long have you worked here?" They ask, "How much output do you generate compared to what AI tools already provide?" This is where salary pressure begins without anyone openly talking about it. So what does this mean for the average person watching this right now? It means the middle is disappearing. Not because people are losing jobs overnight, but because the gap between AI-powered workers and non-AI workers is widening every single month. Imagine 2 elevators moving upward in a building. One is moving slowly. The other is accelerating. At first, they look close. But over time, the distance becomes huge. That is exactly what is happening to incomes globally right now. And the most dangerous part? You don't feel it immediately. You only notice it after years, when catching up becomes almost impossible. But here's the part that should give you both fear and hope at the same time. Because this system is still early. We are not at the peak yet. That means the window to adapt is still open. And in the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how people are quietly turning AI into income engines. Even without technical backgrounds, even without coding, and even starting from zero. But what they are doing differently will completely change how you see money forever. Now let's move into the part most people skip too quickly, but this is exactly where the future of income is being decided right now. Because once you understand what's really happening behind AI-driven salary growth, you stop seeing jobs the same way again. You stop seeing careers as fixed paths. And instead, you start seeing something much bigger, a system where income is becoming less about positions and more about leverage. Imagine 2 people sitting in the same office. Both are working full-time. Both are equally educated. But one of them quietly starts building something outside the job using AI. Not a huge startup. Not a complex tech company. Just small systems. Automated content. AI-written research summaries. Simple digital tools. Meanwhile, the other person continues doing everything manually, relying only on effort and experience. At first, nothing looks different. Both are earning the same salary. Both are moving through the same routine. But after a few months, a gap starts to appear, not in job titles, but in control over time. One person is still trading hours for money. The other is slowly building systems that work even when they are not working. And this is where things get very real. Because AI has introduced something new into the economy that most people still don't fully understand. Scalable human effort. In the past, if you wanted to earn more, you had to physically work more hours or move into management. But now, one person can produce the output of an entire small team using AI tools. Writing, editing, researching, designing, even customer support, everything can be amplified. This means the real value is no longer just skill. It is skill multiplied by systems. And systems are what separate average earners from high earners in the next 5 years. Here's a story to make this even clearer. A small freelance designer starts using AI tools to generate concepts, draft layouts, and speed up revisions. Before AI, they could only handle 2 or 3 clients per week. After AI, they can handle 10. Not because they are working harder, but because the process itself became faster. Now imagine what happens when income is directly tied to output. Their earnings don't increase by 10%. They increase by multiples. This is where salary growth starts to break away from traditional limit. And this is also where most people miss the opportunity, because they think AI is just a tool, not a multiplier. But here's where psychology plays a huge role again. Most people do not adopt systems thinking. They think in tasks, not in leverage. They ask, how do I finish this work? Instead of asking, how can I make this work repeat itself? And this small difference creates a massive financial gap over time. Because in a world where AI exists, the most valuable people are not the ones who do tasks faster. They are the ones who design workflows that eliminate tasks entirely. And once you understand that, you realize something uncomfortable. Companies are not paying for effort anymore. They are paying for efficiency design. Now let's talk about something even more important. There is a silent transformation happening inside companies right now. They are no longer hiring based only on traditional job descriptions. Instead, they are starting to look for what we can call AI-augmented employees. These are people who can take a normal role and multiply its output using AI. A marketer who understands AI tools is now worth more than 3 traditional marketers. A writer using AI is producing more content than an entire content team from a few years ago. And this shift is not slowing down, it is accelerating. But here's the twist most people don't see coming. As AI increases productivity, companies don't automatically increase salaries at the same rate. Instead, they widen expectations first. That means you are expected to produce more before you are paid more. This creates a strange pressure point in the economy. People feel like they are working harder than ever, but salary growth doesn't match their effort. And the reason is simple. AI is absorbing part of the productivity increase. So unless you personally adapt, the system benefits from your efficiency more than you do. So what does this mean for someone starting today? It means your real competition is not other workers anymore. Your real competition is the combination of other workers plus AI. And this is where everything changes. Because once you accept that reality, you stop preparing for jobs and start preparing for leverage positions. You stop thinking, what job should I get? And start thinking, what system can I build around my skills so AI makes me 5x more effective? And here's the part that should completely shift your mindset. In the next 5 years, The biggest financial gap will not be between educated and uneducated people. It will be between AI-integrated thinkers and traditional workers. That gap is already forming quietly, and it is expanding faster than most people realize. But there is still time to move to the right side of that divide. Because in the next section, I'm going to show you something even more important, how this entire shift is not just changing salaries, but completely rewriting what financial success even means in the first place, and why the old idea of working for 40 years and retiring comfortably may no longer look the same again. Now we need to go even deeper, because what we are really talking about is not just salary growth anymore, we are talking about a full rewrite of financial reality itself. And this is where most people feel uncomfortable, because it challenges something they were taught since childhood, the idea that hard work over time guarantees stability. But the system forming right now does not reward time in the same way anymore. It rewards adaptability, speed of learning, and how fast you can plug yourself into AI-driven systems. Let me show you something that will change how you see income forever. Imagine a world where two employees sit side by side, doing what looks like the same job. Same title, same office, same responsibilities, but one of them is quietly using AI to compress hours of work into minutes, writing reports instantly, summarizing meetings automatically, analyzing data without waiting. Meanwhile, the other is still doing everything step by step manually, the way it has always been done. Now here's the important question. If both are paid the same salary today, do you really think they will still be equal in value 1 year from now? The answer is no. And companies already know this. That's why the gap is not just forming. It is accelerating silently inside organizations. Here's where things get interesting. In traditional economics, salary growth was tied to inflation, promotions, and experience curves. But AI introduces something completely different: exponential output scaling. That means your output no longer increases linearly with time. It increases based on how effectively you use tools. And this is why some people will experience what looks like sudden financial acceleration in the next few years. Not because they got lucky, but because they unlocked leverage at the right moment. Let me tell you a real-world type scenario that is already repeating everywhere. A mid-level employee in operations starts using AI to automate reporting tasks. What used to take them 6 hours a day now takes 1 hour. At first, they just enjoy the free time. But then something unexpected happens. Management notices they are always ahead of deadlines. So instead of reducing their workload, they give them more responsibility. Now they are managing not just their own tasks, but additional workflows. And because AI is assisting them, they are still able to handle it. From the outside, it looks like they are just good at their job. But internally, something bigger is happening. They are becoming a one-person productivity engine. And that is what companies are silently rewarding today. But here is the psychological trap most people fall into. When they become more efficient, they expect immediate financial rewards. They think, I am saving the company time, so I should automatically earn more. But organizations don't work that way. They respond to value over time, not instant efficiency. This delay creates frustration. And frustration leads many people to stop using AI altogether, which is the worst possible decision in this environment. Because while they are waiting for recognition, others are using that same time to compound their advantage. Now let's talk about something even deeper. We are entering what experts quietly describe as a winner-takes-most income structure. That means the top performers in AI-augmented roles will not just earn slightly more, they will earn disproportionately more. Why? Because AI removes many of the old limitations of scale. A single individual can now reach thousands, even millions of users through automation, content, and systems. In the past, scaling required teams, capital, and infrastructure. Now it requires knowledge of systems and execution speed. And that changes everything about how income is distributed. Here's the twist most people still don't fully realize. It is not AI itself that creates inequality. It is access plus usage. Everyone has access to similar tools, but not everyone uses them effectively. Some people treat AI like a shortcut for small tasks. Others treat it like an entire operating system for their work life. And that difference creates financial separation faster than anything we have seen before in modern job market. So what does financial success even mean now? It is no longer just about earning a stable salary or climbing a corporate ladder slowly over decade. It is about positioning yourself in a way where your output scales without requiring equal increases in time or effort. That means building skills that AI amplifies. Thinking, communication, strategy, creativity, decision-making. These are becoming the new currency of the modern economy. And this leads us to a very uncomfortable truth. The old definition of safe career is disappearing. Not because jobs are vanishing overnight, but because stability itself is changing shape. A stable job today may not guarantee stable income growth tomorrow unless it evolves with technology. And this is where most people will either quietly fall behind or rapidly move ahead. But here's the good news hidden inside all of this pressure. You are still early. The system is still forming. That means the gap between those who adapt and those who don't is not fixed yet. It is still expanding. And in the final part of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to position yourself on the winning side of this shift. Practically, realistically, and without needing any technical background at all. Now we reach the part where everything becomes practical, because understanding the shift is not enough anymore. The real question is simple: what do you actually do with all of this before the gap becomes too wide to close? Let's be honest. Most people watching this right now are not afraid of AI. They are afraid of being left behind without even noticing it happening. Because the scary part is not sudden change. It is slow invisibility. One day you are doing fine, and a few years later you realize your income hasn't moved while everything around you has become more expensive, more competitive, and more automated. That is the real risk in this new economy. But here's where things can still change in your favor. Because despite all the disruption, there is one powerful truth. AI does not replace people who know how to use it. It replaces people who refuse to adapt. And that creates one of the biggest opportunity windows in modern financial history. Let me show you how this works in real life. Imagine you are starting today with zero special skills. No coding. No business experience. Just a normal job, or maybe even no job at all. The first thing you must understand is this. Your goal is no longer just to work. Your goal is to build AI leverage into whatever work you already do. That means you start asking a different question every single day. Not how do I finish this task? But how can AI help me finish this faster, better, or in a more scalable way? For example, if you work in writing, you don't just write manually anymore. You use AI to generate drafts, then you refine them with your human judgment. If you work in business or sales, you use AI to analyze customer behavior, prepare responses, and predict trends. If you are a student, you use AI not to copy answers, but to learn concepts faster and go deeper than your peers. The shift is subtle, but powerful. You stop being just a worker and start becoming a system operator. Now here's something most people miss completely. Income in the next 5 years will not just depend on skills. It will depend on how many layers of leverage you build around your skills. One layer is your job. The second layer is AI tools. The third layer is automation. And the fourth layer is distribution. How your work reaches people, companies, or markets. The more layers you stack, the faster your income can grow. And the fewer layers you have, the more you stay stuck in traditional salary limit. But there is a warning hidden in this opportunity. Many people will learn AI tools and still not grow financially. Why? Because they stop at learning and never move to application. They watch tutorials, save information, and feel prepared, but they never convert knowledge into output. And in this new system, only output matters. Not intention, not effort. Execution is the only currency that compounds. Now let's talk about the mindset shift that separates winners from everyone else. In the old economy, people focused on job security. In the new economy, smart people focus on skill security. Because jobs can disappear, but skills that evolve with AI become more powerful over time. And the most valuable skill of all is learning how to learn with AI. That means being able to pick up new tools, adapt to new systems, and turn information into income faster than others. Here's the final truth most people won't say out loud. The next 5 years are not going to be evenly distributed. Some people will experience financial acceleration that feels almost unfair compared to the past. Others will feel like they are working harder but moving slower. And the difference between those two groups will not be luck. It will be early adaptation to AI leverage. So what should you do starting today? First, choose one area of your life where you already spend time. Your job, your studies, or even a small side interest. Second, introduce AI into that area immediately, not later. Third, focus on output growth, not just learning. And fourth, start thinking in systems, not tasks. Because systems scale. Tasks do not. And if you remember only one thing from this entire video, remember this. AI is not the threat to your income. Delay is. The people who win in the next 5 years will not be the ones who knew the most. They will be the ones who started applying the earliest. Because in this new economy, the gap is not between rich and poor anymore. It is between fast adapters and slow movers. And that gap is still open, but not for long. If this video gave you a new perspective, then you already understand more than most people around you. And if you want to go deeper into how to actually turn AI into real income streams step by step, make sure to subscribe because the next videos will break down real systems, real tools, and real strategies that people are already using to earn in this new AI-driven economy.